knowledge is lost in the South. But I could teach you everything I know.
Revealing the unseen mysteries when everything ain't what it seems. It'll blow your mind outside you seek. You find the realms of possibilities. Connect with the infinite intellect to receive of the positive energy. Reciting the sacred mantra to lift you to higher frequencies. Archives and constellations, star signs. When the planets align, new paradigms and paralyzed. From the visit of the succubus at nighttime. Hypnotized sometimes when the watchers flying to the sunrise. It'll set you free from the unbelief. It'll break your mind from the confines. Spirits leaving, changing seasons, principalities undefeated over a certain region. Shamanic novice with knowledge, commune with higher beings with a deeper meaning. The reason Solomonic magic in Jesus with the truth of channeling demons. I'm thrown off sort of this portal to the paranormal. Hearing these voices speaking to me when spirit touches immortal. With a knife in my back and I bleed through the scars. As I am, you see through my flaws. Staring at the stars and the rhythm wars. Never open at the doors with the Ouija board.
Traveling the path where the past is destroyed. Arrive at 0 point. Enter the void, this is fractal math. Holographically enjoy darkness we can't avoid. Enter the void, everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Here. Enter the void.
Enter the ritual, step in the temple, connect with the spiritual realm. Metaphysical to the etherical pathways beyond the physical world. You could ascend to the kingdom of heaven or sit and stay living in hell. Mystical, risky and dark, a lyrical shaman lifting a spell. Witness the miracle, traveling beyond the body, see this is a show. And you in the third dimensional prism that got us imprisoned in cells. Sit between 4 and 20 elders, and split into 12s. Shh. You can hear them whispering if you listen it well. Came to awaken the ancient of days, man, I stay ringing the bell. Mythical note from the place where the wicked fell back to the kingdom of hell. Blessed with the wisdom performing the exorcism, the sins get expelled. So we are the demons and angels, balance the energies within yourself. I'm trying to find a path between the light and the dark. I'm writing to spark a link between the mind and the heart. We've got to unite both sides before they divide us apart. Said we've got to unite both sides before they divide us apart.
Traveling the path where the past is destroyed. Arrive at 0 point. Enter the void. This is fractal math. Holographically enjoy darkness we can't avoid. Enter the void. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Into the void.
Now I'm good with nothing. Why y'all good for nothing? My 100,000 pedal loaders, dopamine over flooded. Stargate runnings, dragons out the dungeon. Magickai been summoned. Total destruction into a vacuum suction. Conjunction, junction, that's my function. Through a star cluster in a maritime custom. Stellar dust encrusted, I ain't touching your disgusting judgments. We rise above it, enjoying the void. Source of pure joy, no more discussion.
To the South Pole, then what happens?
You will open an ancient spirit portal.
I'm sorry, what now?
At the South Pole, there is a portal that connects our world to the spirit world. But it has long been closed.
And that's why the evil spirits are attacking?
There are no evil spirits. There's light and dark in them all. And when they're unbalanced, the darkness takes over. If you can open the portal in time, balance will be restored.
What do you mean, in time?
There's a reason the Glacier Spirits Festival ends on the winter solstice. And that's when the spirit world and the physical world are close together. Only then can the Avatar open the portal.
The winter solstice is tomorrow.
Exactly. And we can't afford to wait another year.
Traveling the path where the past is destroyed. Arrive at 0 point. Enter the void. This is fractal math. Holographically enjoy darkness we can't avoid. Enter the void. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Into the void.
I found true freedom. I am no longer bound to this earth by worldly desires. I have entered the void.
Hello, and welcome everyone.
Wow, that's mind-blowing.
It's like a journey, right?
I love it. What a way to start.
So now that we're all revved up and energized, love to introduce our guest, Sandy Forster. Now, I have to say that after having a look at your website, which is wildlywealthy.com, I mean, what an amazing name to begin with. There is a cadre of accomplishments and just synchronistic and abundant meetings and co-creations. Like, y'all have to go and check out that website, check out the About tab, and see all of the things that Sandy has done. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but I will let Sandy share what it is that she wishes. And also, I'll ask you a very special question. And that is that all of the things that you have and all of the things that you do are amazing. Now, who are you?
Holy moly, that's a question and a half. Who am I? You know what? I am just Sandy from the beautiful Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia, who happens to do something that I love to do, and somehow, very luckily, I feel very blessed to have actually built a business around it. And so like I said, I feel like I'm still that girl who dropped out of high school and just loved going to the beach, but I just happen to be doing something that not only do I love, but is completely transforming other people's lives too. That's kind of me in a nutshell.
That's huge. That's huge. And that's very special. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what your passion is?
Yeah, sure. So my passion is helping others, particularly women, to break through their money blocks so that they can become marvelous manifestors. And the reason I do that is because I used to be $100,000 in debt and on welfare. And at the time I was getting something crazy, like I think it was in US dollars, it was about $7,500 a year. That's what I had to survive on a year. And you can't survive on that. I was just going backwards financially every day, and I just, it got worse and worse until I was $100,000 in debt. And I didn't know how to turn it around, but I was really lucky that I discovered the law of attraction, and I discovered the metaphysical, and I discovered that there's more to this life than meets the eye, and we actually have the power and the capabilities to create our world the way that we want. And that's exactly what I did. I embraced it wholeheartedly, and I transformed my world, and now I love showing other people how to do the same.
Wow.
Yeah. So before or figuring out how to deal with your money situation, were you already interested like in the quantum law of attraction in that world, or did this spark you into actually discovering that or being curious about it more?
Yeah, well, to give you a bit of backstory to know where sort of I came from, I used to live in the most southern state in Australia. Well, one of the most southern, very cold. And my parents decided we're going to move to the warm state up north and move to Queensland. But before we did that, they decided, okay, we're going to sell our family home. And instead of just doing a move, we'll take half the money from the sale of that house and we're going to travel the world for 10 months, which we did, which was amazing. I'm talking 40 years ago or something. It was just mind blowing to see the world in that way. And so after I came back to Australia, I went to high school and I met a boy in high school. He was a surfer and I loved the beach. So it seemed like match made in heaven. And so we went out for about 10 or 11 years, and then we got married, and we had 2 kids. I had a 6-month-old and a 3-year-old. And it was that point that we pretty much realized that this was not a match made in heaven. And we ended up divorcing. And at that time, I actually had a hobby business. So I was designing and manufacturing swimwear and gym wear. And I was just buying Lycra from the local discount store and bringing it home. And I had a sewing machine set up in my garage, and I would sew all winter. And then I would find an empty store down by the beach in summer. And I would sell my stuff and, cash money. And it was all wonderful and great when I was married, because that money allowed us to go on a holiday or buy some new furniture or put in a swimming pool, do some landscaping. But when we divorced, that money had to be my sole income. And the more I tried to grow the business, the more in debt I got. It was just ridiculous because I tried to turn it from a hobby business into a real business, and it just didn't work. And so I was $100,000 in debt on welfare, and I loved already positive thinking. So I loved thinking positively, but I, at that point, had no idea about quantum physics, had no idea about neuroscience, had no idea about the law of attraction. And so what I did was, I read books and I went to seminars and I was trying to think positively. But when you're $100,000 in debt and on welfare, it's kind of hard to think positive, because all I used to, I'd sort of think about what I wanted in my life. I think about my goals, but then the rest of the day, all I would do is see my debt, those red letters coming in the mail saying we're going to send you to collections. It was just a really stressful, horrible, scary time in my life. But I ended up going to it was kind of like I think it was like a hypnotist, psychologist, sort of advisor type person. And he hypnotized me. I mean, I don't even know if I was. I can't tell with hypnosis. But he put me on the couch and did whatever he did. And at the end of it, he said, well, what came up for you? And I said, well, the only thing that came up for me was personal development. But there's no way in the world that I am ever going to get into that field, because in my mind, there's only two things you could do. You could either talk, and I was so shy and so introverted. It's like, that ain't going to happen. And the other thing was write a book. And I thought, well, I'm never going to write a book. Like, that's impossible. So fast forward after that session, within less than a month, I ended up seeing this tiny little ad in the local newspaper, and some words just jumped out at me. One was personal development, another was strong work ethic, and the other was make money. And it was like, woo, I'm into that. So I looked into it, and it was actually marketing a course, and the course was based on the law of attraction. And that was my first introduction to the law of attraction, and it blew my mind, because it took that whole positive thinking to a new level. Suddenly I realized that, yeah, you could, be this Pollyanna positive thinking type attitude, but when you consciously think about what it is you want to create, and you're consciously aware of your thoughts, and you're consciously aware of your emotions, and you're consciously aware of your actions, when you align body, mind, and spirit, and you're consciously aware of those things, then you can create a reality that you truly want. Then you can begin to attract your dreams. Then you can begin to create your world. So it totally blew my mind when I first found out about the law of attraction. It was just like, wow. Oh, are you guys there? Hello? You're frozen. Hello? 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 I don't know if I'm here by myself. You guys have disappeared. I don't know if anyone heard me. I will hang and wait to see if they come back. I can't tell if anyone's here. I don't know how this works. I'm just like the guest. Can you hear me? I got no one to tell me if they can. Where have they gone? Kai? Kai, are you there? Dell? I think I'm all on my lonesome. I don't know if I should keep talking. I'm going to keep talking just in case you can hear me. So yeah, discovering the law of attraction was just the best thing that ever happened to me. And I guess my life at the time was really challenging. My life at the time was I was in that place where, hey guys,
Technical difficulties.
I lost you. I was freaking out.
It was just so monumental what you were saying, and then our computer just froze. So right now we're going from a phone. It just shows
Okay.
like when you go live, the variables that could potentially happen. But
I know. And I'm telling this great story, and they look at you, and you both look totally dazed. And it was like, oh, what happened? And then I realized you were frozen. But I was just saying how at the time when I was $100,000 in debt and on welfare, and I discovered the law of attraction, for me it was just such a breath of fresh air, because when you are so far in debt and when you are really struggling around money, it is so oppressive. Like, it feels so heavy. You feel so constricted. Your whole life is like, you feel like on edge all the time. And discovering the law of attraction and discovering that I needed to focus on what I wanted to create instead of my actual situation, being in that space really allowed me to, it just felt so amazing, because focusing on what I wanted, dreaming about being a millionaire, dreaming about what it would be like to have all that money and be able to travel and be able to have my own home, be able to buy a car that didn't leak so much that it was growing a tree in the back seat. Like, being able to do all these things just made me feel so alive and so excited and so amazing. So I spent a lot of time focusing on my dreams and desires and my goals, really spend a lot of time and energy on that instead of where my situation was. So I guess being in such a bad place and then discovering the law of attraction was really a great advantage for me, because it felt so good to do that as opposed to focus on how my life actually was.
It seems like such a simple concept, to focus on what we do want as opposed to what we don't want. But it's like, how many videos has Abraham Hicks made about that same concept? And it just takes a little bit longer to get through.
It does, because we're human and we make completely stupid mistakes on a daily basis. I mean, we all know how to be super healthy, like eat real food. But, we're buying the chips and we're having an ice cream and eating a bit of chocolate cake. And it's like, we know what we have to do, but to actually do it on a consistent basis, that's a whole nother ball game. And so I think when we learn to master our thoughts and become conscious, and the first step is really just becoming aware, becoming conscious of our thoughts, becoming mindful of our thoughts. Because when you become mindful of your thoughts, you realize in the moment that, I'm actually thinking about something I don't want to have happen in my life. So let me think of something else. Let me shift that. And then, of course, how you feel. Like, when you feel bad, that's a great indicator that, again, you're thinking about something that you don't want to happen in your life. So again, shift that. And when you take actions that give you results that you don't want, well, it's like, hang on a minute, again, be mindful of that and take a different action. So it all comes down to just being mindful. And when you do that on a regular basis, you start to become the creator of your life.
Wow. I mean, there's so much magic in just dreaming again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And remember when I was $100,000 in debt, thinking about those amazing things that I wanted to have in my life, thinking about that, just part of it seems such an impossibility, but just taking the time to dream about it just set my heart on fire. Like, I just felt so incredible. And, going from that place of being $100,000 in debt and struggling every day and not being able to, when I was shopping with my children, they knew not to ask me for an ice cream or a packet of chips or crisps or they just knew not to ask me, because the answer was always no. Like, we just didn't have the money. And I remember one Christmas that I just decided that, because Christmas is like Christmas and you want to get your kids stuff, but I decided that no, I don't have any money. It's not going to happen. I'm just going to, try and make do. And I remember buying my daughter these little hair clips, but not fancy little pretty ones. They were just those brown slides that you slide in your hair. I got her a packet of them, and I got her a blank tape, because I knew that she liked to, record music. So that's what I got her. My son, I got him a packet of corn chips and a jar of salsa because he loved it. And like that was it. But you know what happened that Christmas? I got a knock on the door about a day or two before Christmas from a man that I'd never met. And he said to me, I realized that my wife had purchased something from you and the check had bounced, and I want to make that right. And he gave me a check for $3,000. And it was like, oh my gosh, I just wanted to just burst out crying because when I closed the door, I did, because it was like when you show, and this is the thing, so many people are out there doing all the manifesting and the thinking and the vision boards and the affirmations and the, all the fun stuff, but then they're not taking the practical actions to show the universe that they not only want money, but they're going to be good with money and they're going to handle their money wisely. So I think in that moment of saying, you know what, I'm not going to spend any money. I'm not going to put anything more on credit card. I'm just going to, this is it. This is all they're getting. This is how it is. And making that decision, sticking that decision, the universe is like, whoa, okay, you're a good girl. Here, I'm going to give you some more. So, you've got to remember that manifesting is only partly the mind and partly the emotions. It's also the action, because that book that Wallace Wattles wrote back in 1910, so well over 100 years ago, very old language, but there's one little line in there that he says, by thought the thing you desire is brought to you, but by action you receive it. And so many people are out there thinking all the thoughts about what they want and focusing on the dream life and the car and the holidays and the nice clothes and the lifestyle, but they're not taking the actions they need. They're not, and the action, what the action actually does, yes, it shows the universe you're serious, but more than anything, it shows you're serious. And when you really get that you're serious, then your creative mind, because your logical mind can kind of settle down and really get that this is real and that you can do this. And so then your creative mind can really get into action, and your creative mind is what allows you to become very magnetic to what you desire. So that action piece of the puzzle, that action piece of attracting and the law of attraction is so important. And that's the thing that so many people are missing. They're having too much fun with all the metaphysical stuff, but not taking the action they need to manifest their desires.
That's good. That is really good. And yeah, the action portion of it, because you see, like you mentioned, a lot of people with the vision boards and everything, which is totally fine, the affirmations, and you're definitely the first law of attraction teacher that I hear out there that we actually spoke to myself that says the action is a lot of us, and even myself before law of attraction, I thought, like, if I just sit here, I meditate, I visualize,
the money's going to drop into my lap.
Yeah. And of course that doesn't work. It's not just myself. There's a lot of people out there who they are trying to manifest money or manifest their soulmate or manifest whoever and wait for the opportunity to happen, compared to just doing expired actions like it's already done and that type of thing. And I'm sure that a lot of people can actually resonate with being, because that financial abundance, receiving that for where they are right now in the place of the debt, and like you mentioned, the $100,000 in debt that you were, and I know this type of question would be a universal question for a lot of people out there. And the thing is, with that going on in your present reality, and with present reality, you see what's happening, especially brings a lot of emotions in you. All the thoughts come, oh my God, worry about this. Oh my God, what's going to happen? It's going to get worse. The thoughts that happen. What are tools that you were using to actually keep yourself in alignment and shift your thoughts and bring your awareness to what's happening, but then being able to get into a trajectory to allow what you're looking to manifest to happen?
Yeah, that's a great question, because when there are challenging times, we are so aware of it. And the reason being is we're kind of hardwired from caveman days. And back in caveman days, you have to be aware of every threat, every danger, because it basically meant life or death. Okay, it was life or death. So we are still hardwired for that. So every little perceived danger, someone cutting us off in traffic, or an email coming into our inbox, or the phone ringing, all these things, our nervous system is still wired that is a threat. So we're like constantly on edge. So when you have times like we do in the world right now, where we've got this overlay of this ridiculous pandemic thing happening, it's like taken to a whole new level, and so many people are stressed beyond belief. And the number one thing I can say is, as you mentioned, it all comes back to your thoughts in your mind. So do something as simple as, I haven't got my phone next to me now, but on my phone, I've got voice memos. And voice memos, I can just record something whenever I want. And I do that all the time. And I've probably got, 100 different voice memos, and they consist of little mini guided visualizations and affirmations and declarations and just all this stuff that whenever I am doing nothing, I am listening to some of my voice memos. I am feeding my mind with what I want to create, as opposed to what the world is saying I should create, what the world is saying how things should be, what the world is saying, times are tough and everyone's in a bad place. It's like, no. I don't want to buy into that. I'm going to create my reality based on what I want to think. And you've just kind of got to disconnect. I think in a way I'm kind of lucky. I have a TV, but I've chosen to have it disconnected from the outside world. So all I can do is, watch the rerun of Friends that my son put on a hard drive for me, or Game of Thrones, or something like, but I can't tap into what's going on. Like, I can't tap into the news or just all the rubbish that's out there. So that's one thing I've done. I don't read the newspaper or listen to the news, online, or I don't do anything of that. And it's not like I'm completely ignorant, because believe me, people tell you what's happening. Like, people constantly keeping you up to date with all the doom and gloom. But I'm consistently feeding my mind with what I want to create, because that's the bottom line. Your thoughts are what send the signal out to the universe as to what it is you truly want. And then your feelings about that is what causes it to be magnetic and brought back to you. And then your actions are what allow it to actually physically manifest in your world. So
Sandy,
if
can you say
know
that one more time? Because that was super potent.
Yeah. Okay. So your thoughts send your order out into the world. Your thoughts are what send your order out to the ears of the universe. And then your emotions, how you feel about it, is what attracts back to you. But then your actions are what then allow it to turn from the metaphysical into the physical and actually into your reality. So that's why I always say, this is what I teach my students. I give them so many processes to align body, mind, and spirit, because it's those three things. When they're all aligned, when they're all on the same wavelength, that's when you become truly magnetic to what it is you desire. So, in times like this, you've got the choice. You have the choice every second as to what you're going to think and to how you're going to feel and what actions you're going to take. Like, you get the choice. And, I love the way when you stop and think about it, and if you truly knew that you were the creator of your reality, and if you truly understood that, and if you truly got it at a deep soul level, would you let one day go by without spending the time consciously thinking about what it is you want to create, and consciously putting your body, mind, and spirit there, consciously connecting to that, being at one with that, visualizing it, affirming it? You wouldn't. You would do that every day if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that that's how you could create your world. And yet, even though so many people know that, and everyone loves the law of attraction and loves the metaphysical and loves the woo-woo, even though they know that, they still let it slip. Just like we all know that, we should be exercising, but there's still days that turn into weeks, that turn into months, that we're not doing anything. So it's like, you've just got to just set the intention, say you're going to do it, commit. And when you do that, every single day, do something. I'm not talking about every single second of every single day. I'm just saying every day, do something to really connect with that vision that you want of your life, connect to your dreams, your desires and goals. And when you do that consistently every single day, the universe starts to juggle things around. The universe starts to bring you absolute miracles. I mean, I've seen it over and over again in my life. Like, I've had various times in the last, since I first discovered the law of attraction, that I've just come up with an idea and I've followed through with it, not having a clue where it was headed or what was going on. And I've made millions of dollars from it. Like, let me give you an example. So many people here have probably heard of The Secret. Like, they understand The Secret, the movie, the book. Well, before The Secret, I was teaching the law of attraction, and I'd already written my own book, How to Be Wildly Wealthy Fast, which was all based on the law of attraction and manifesting money. And someone had sent me a link to this trailer about this thing called The Secret, and I watched the trailer, and it didn't say a word about the law of attraction. So I didn't know exactly what it was. But I just got this feeling that, oh my gosh, this is something really good. I want to see it. I want to see this movie. But we weren't allowed to buy it in Australia. So they had some sort of agreement that they couldn't sell it in Australia until it aired on TV. So I'm like, if I can't have something, I want it. So it's like, I want to watch that movie. Anyway, I decided, you know what? I just feel like this is going to really change things when it comes to what I'm doing. I'm going to email The Secret people. So I sent an email and said, I'd love to send you a present. Anyway, I get an email back from Rhonda Byrne, the producer of The Secret. Wow. And she said, we get so many emails, like it's not funny, but somehow yours came to me. And yes, I would love a present. So I sent her my book. I had a course that is online now, but at the time it was a home study course. And I posted that off to her. It was Millionaire Mindset Experience. And she emailed me back and said, oh my gosh, did you watch The Secret and then write your book? And I said, I haven't even seen The Secret yet. So she ended up posting me a DVD. And I sat down, I had a secret party at my house, which was so exciting. So I had all my friends round and we watched The Secret and was like, oh my gosh, this is the law of attraction. This is what I teach. I love it. Anyway, fast forward and, Rhonda says to me, I'd love to be able to get it in Australia, but no, we can't sell to Australia. And I said, well, can't somebody else sell to Australia? And she said, well, yeah, but we can only sell to America. So I said, well, I've got a US company. Can my company buy The Secret? She said, your company can buy The Secret and you can sell it wherever you want. So that idea alone, that idea to send an email to The Secret people, how many people have ideas and never follow through? Ooh. So I followed through. So I took action. I sent the email. Then we had that connection. She got my email. She responded. I sent them a present. And next thing I know, I'm distributing this. I had no idea about importing, exporting, distributing a product, in mass like that. But, I'm distributing The Secret throughout Australia, and I made something like $3 million in less than a year from that idea alone. And so that's the perfect example of continuously putting myself previously in that place, thinking about what I want, thinking about my dream home, thinking about all the things that I want to manifest, then coming up with an inspired idea, not even knowing it was an inspired idea. I just thought I'll send an email, but coming up with an idea and then following through, taking action. And look what happened. And that's just one of the, the things that have happened in my life since I discovered The Secret, since I discovered the law of attraction, since I discovered that what you focus on and what you think about creates your reality. And, it's a perfect example of taking action when you come up with an idea. So, and I'm not saying that all my actions are amazing and I get amazing results. Some of my actions have given me the crappiest, worst results ever. But if you don't take action, you'll never know. You'll just stay in the same place.
That's the fearless action right there, because for myself, that fear of what happens if I take this action and it doesn't work. So I would be held back from taking forth those actions and not really thinking about, or not even just thinking, but just doing it. It's so, because I get thoughts like that all the time. Sometimes I take actions on it, And sometimes it'd be like a little subtle idea, like, hey, what about doing this? I'm like, nah.
I know.
No.
It's our own thoughts. We often are scared of failing, but we're also sometimes scared of success. Like, how's things going to be different if I make things different? Because I remember when I was still kind of not in that place where I was really, I definitely wasn't a millionaire, but I was in that place where things were getting better. I was manifesting more. I'd had my accountant come to me and say, look, I'd love to kind of go into business with you. I've got clients, but I don't really want to talk to them. And I've got this course that I think people would love to hear about. I'd love you to be able to talk to them because I know you were in direct sales once before. Anyway, so we were doing this business together and, it was going quite well. And I woke up one morning with the name Wildly Wealthy Women in my head. So I just jumped online and I registered the domain name, didn't give it another thought. And probably about 3 or 4 months later, both of us were together at a seminar. And I said to her, I think we should start a program based on your practical knowledge and information and the mindset stuff that I have. And we'll call it Wildly Wealthy Women, and we'll have Wildly Wealthy Women's Wicked Weekends. And, you can teach them all the practical stuff and I'll teach them the mindset stuff. And again, just a simple idea. I've gone online, I registered the domain name, and that idea alone has made me millions of dollars. Like the very first year, in the first probably 4 months, we made close to $2 million with that. So it's like, you've got to take that action. And the thing is, the universe loves speed. Now, this is really important. So I thought of the name Wildly Wealthy Women. No idea what I was going to do with it, but I jumped online, registered the domain name, and that was it. Now, if I hadn't done that, and I know this for a fact, if I had not registered that domain name, my thought had become energy and it was out in the quantum field. And if I hadn't taken that action and registered that domain name, someone else would have tapped into that idea and registered that domain name and created a business that made them a lot of money. So you've got to take action when you get that inspired idea, because I've had ideas before where I thought, oh, I'm going to create that product. Oh, I'm going to go and register the domain name. I'll go online. I'll start the process. I'll get sidetracked. It's available, but I haven't quite followed through and put the money in yet. And it's like, I'll come back to it. And I can literally come back a couple of hours later and it's gone. Someone has registered the domain name in that time from me thinking about it to me getting back to actually doing something about it. So the universe loves speed, and the universe will reward you if you take action. So that's why I'm so big on, I always say when you marry the metaphysical with the practical, and that's, the mindset with the taking action, that's where the magic happens. That's truly where the magic happens. So I'm really big on taking action.
Yeah, I feel that. That is so amazing. It just feels expansive. And it also makes me want to ask a follow-up question, which is, how do you reconcile, the principle of detachment, with the process of being focused on, this dream life?
Yeah, it's hard. Let me tell you, when you're $100,000 in debt and you're on welfare and you have a dream, a desire and a goal, at the start, it is so hard to not be totally almost obsessed, like that obsessive energy. Like you want it so bad that your whole being is like, ah. But that's not an attractive quality. That is not, and when I mean attractive, it's not magnetic. It's not going to bring you what you want. So I think it's all about understanding that whatever dream, desire, or goal you have, the universe wants far more for you than you could ever want for yourself. The universe is there to support you. You have that dream, desire, or goal because it's out there in, I like to call it, out in your warehouse waiting for you. So it's there for you already. So just knowing that and knowing that the universe wants you to have that thing, that wants you to manifest that dream, desire, or goal, should allow you to kind of take a breath and just relax into knowing that it's there waiting for you. It's going to come at the perfect time and in the perfect way. All you need to do is just align with it. Just align, feel at one with it, imagine it's already in your life, feel how you would feel already having that thing happened or manifested into your life, and just connect with it in that way. And as I said before, we're also wired to look out for danger, look out for what we don't have, that you've got to do whatever practice you can to get yourself to calm your nervous system, because when your nervous system is calmed, then you can begin to attract. But when you're in that frantic, I need it, I want it, I've got to have it, and you're focusing on it in a kind of coming from it from a scarcity mindset, or coming to it from an obsessive way, then again, that's not the energy that attracts. So you've just, and it could be as simple as, and this is the other thing that I often forget to mention, is that I think one of the reasons the law of attraction worked so amazingly for me was because at that same time, I discovered meditation. And I began to meditate. And at that time I was meditating, I think it was for about half an hour, might have even been an hour. It was this tape. I remember it was a guided meditation, but it only had like about 1 minute of talking at the start, then blank all the way through. And then at the very end of the tape, someone talking. And I remember every time at the end of the tape, I'd be in this beautiful, blissful, meditative state. And then the voice would talk and I would literally jump out of my skin with fright because it was Deepak Chopra's voice, and he has got this big, deep voice. It was like freaked me out every time. But what I'm trying to get at is meditation is such an amazing thing and I don't think people get this, an amazing thing to help you become an amazing manifester, because it does something to your nervous system. It just calms it down. It just makes you feel just amazing. And in that space, that's where you can actually plant the seed for what you desire, and you can become more magnetic to it. So meditating is an amazing tool for, yes, feeling great, but also becoming a better manifester.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's probably different energy. Well, there is different energies manifesting from that state compared to try to manifest from, I need this. I need like that neediness. I said that before, and I was talking to somebody who was trying to manifest a partner, and they was in a place of like neediness and desperation. And I was asking them a question, like, how would you feel if somebody came to you like the way that you feel right now? Like, I need you to come here, like, be with me. It would turn you off. So
totally scare them away. Exactly.
Yeah. So I feel like our desires too, they are just like that.
They are. They're exactly the same. When you come to wanting more abundance and prosperity in your life and come to it from that place of scarcity, or that place of feeling like you don't have enough, and believe me, I know what that's like, $100,000 in debt. Yeah. I know what it's like to be really in that horrible place. But as I said, when I discovered the law of attraction and understood that what I thought about and focused on and spent my energy and time on, that was what I was going to create. It just felt so much better to focus on what I wanted instead of how things were. And some might call that kind of delusional manifesting, because, I spent so much time thinking about and dreaming about and imagining that I already had this amazing life. And I look at what I have created. And so going from that place of being on welfare to now living in a multi-million-dollar home, I was going to say I get to travel whenever I want, but Australia is shut off from the world. So I can't. My next trip is to Bhutan, to the Tiger's Nest Monastery. I can't wait to do that. But we can't book yet because I think they're not going to open the gates till 2024 for Australia. We can leave, but we just can't come back. It's not good. But I get to do amazing things. I've taken my kids and we've swum with dolphins in Hawaii and flown by helicopter over where they filmed Jurassic Park. And it was so cool.
You see any dinosaurs?
Unfortunately not. But honestly, you had that feeling that they were going to pop out at any time. And my daughter loves shopping. She loves clothes. Completely the opposite to me. I wear gym stuff every single day. But she's like the clothes person. And so I told her I'd take her shopping. So, we live in Australia. So I flew her to New York and we went, I took her shopping in New York and she absolutely loved that. We've done things like trek the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu in Peru. And we've climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and me and my daughter trekked to base camp on Everest. And like the things that we've done have just been amazing. And, you know, it's all because I decided, I made that decision that my life wasn't going to continue to be me $100,000 in debt and on welfare. I made that decision that, you know, I'd been born into the wrong life, and I didn't want to live this life. I wanted freedom. And it wasn't about necessarily I wanted money. What I wanted was freedom. I wanted choices. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, instead of, you know, because when you've got no money, your choices get really cut off. So, you know, just being in that place and dreaming about all those things I wanted. And now I live this life that, seriously, if you'd met me in high school, or met me after I dropped out of high school, because I didn't even finish grade 12, but if you'd met me back then, you would never in a million years have thought I would ever go on to create any type of success, because all I really cared about was going down the beach. Like, I moved from the coldest state in Australia to a warm one, and like being able to swim in the ocean was like, yay. So you would never in a million years have thought that I would go on to do anything. But I think the real blessing for me is that and this is what I teach my students too. I'm very much we've all heard the saying, ready, aim, fire. So ready is get sort of a little bit prepared. Aim is get everything sorted, get everything perfect, make sure everything's just the way it should be. And then fire, get started, make it happen. But I live by the premise of ready, fire, aim. So I come up with an idea, I just get going with it, and then I aim afterwards. I tweak it, I perfect it, I, you know, make it better later on. And I think that has served me really well, because I still don't really consider myself a business person. Yes, I have a business, and yes, I make money, but I'm just doing something that I totally love. I'm just a creative person who is creating, you know, guided visualizations and creating affirmations and creating technology that allows you to rewire your mind without you having to do anything. And I just, you know, create all this stuff that people love, and it changes their lives and changes my life. And it's so much fun, but it's actually my business. So I feel very blessed that I do what I do. And at the same time, I change people's lives. I mean, I only got an email yesterday. It was an Instagram message yesterday from someone. I was walking along the beach reading this message, crying, because he was telling me how before he came across me, he was suicidal. He, you know, was in debt. He was really stressed out. He was ashamed. He was all these things. He read my book and then put it into place. And he was reading me to say he's telling me he had paid off all his debt. He was now on a retreat somewhere in, I don't know, some gorgeous tropical island, and his life had completely turned around. And that was only in 3 months. So it was like, you know, when I read things like that, I realize how much of an impact I'm having on other people's lives. And I feel truly blessed, because I know what it was like to be that person in that really hard place, and have mentors, and have books to read, or audios to listen to, or things that could inspire me to understand that my life could be different and I could create something new. And so I really love that I'm that for people now. So I feel really blessed.
Yeah. Servitude. And using your journey to help others, and you receive abundance for it and get to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, as much as Australia allows you to.
Yeah.
Wow. I got so many helpful tools helping myself. I'm going to record affirmations to listen to throughout the day. And as you were mentioning, it just reminded me of just, let's say, like working out, want to lose weight. You don't just go to the gym like one time. It's like a routine. You keep working the muscles, and it gets more fluidity, and it starts to become like a routine for you. It's the same thing.
And it starts to become, you've hit the nail on the head there. And not only starts to become a routine, but when you don't do it, you feel like something's missing. And that's the key. That's the key. So I was actually on a call the other day listening to actual neuroscientists. Like, oh my gosh, these are the geekiest people on the planet, but they are amazing. So talking about things like, we're all told that it takes 21 days to create a habit. But she was talking about you actually need 3 cycles of 21 to create a long-term, like, yes, you can create a habit in 21 days, but it takes 42 days for it to actually really become kind of firmer, and it takes 3 cycles of 21, so 63 days for it to actually be like the neurons in your brain and the wiring all hardwired properly, rather than just a kind of flimsy thought. So, I think we're so lucky that right now we live in times where scientists are discovering all sorts of amazing things about the quantum field, about how we work within that, and how, what we can create. So from a scientific perspective, we are so lucky. But then from a mindset perspective, the neuroscientists are discovering things with all the technology that they have, that about how the brain works, and how we can, rewire the brain to allow us to just naturally and effortlessly create what we want. So we're so lucky that right now we live in these times where, with science and with quantum physics, it's all kind of melding together, and they're really helping us to learn how to be the best us possible.
Yeah. Wow. I'm still in awe from reading your bio and just all of the amazing accomplishments that you had, but more so, like, my heart just feels the journey that you were on, and who it is that you've become in the world. I'm super honored, like, to have you here and to have this conversation.
Like I said at the very start, I'm still just Sandy from the Sunshine Coast who walks the dog down the beach every morning, loves the ocean. And, I just feel really blessed and really lucky that I did discover the law of attraction, because, I don't like to think what my life would be like if I had been very closed-minded to it and thought, oh, that's too woo-woo, that's too out there, I'm not going there. So I feel really lucky that, I was open-minded enough to give it a go, and fell in love with it.
Yeah, there's different levels of that too. Like, I'm talking about it, so because, and I'm sure you notice it in your world too. This abundance of different law of attraction people out there teaching out there based upon what they have heard other people said and their knowledge of it. But for you, it's a different energy, and I can feel it's an embodiment. So it's something that you have done for yourself, and it works.
Yeah.
So it's a different energy with that. And also from people who come to you and like, oh my God, like the person who just was on the brink of suicide and came across you, and how what you were able to help him come to realization with, shifted his life dramatically.
Yeah.
That's profound.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's exciting. And then on the other side of that, I get people that, their life was okay, but I had someone yesterday email me to say that since she joined my Millionaire Mindset experience, in 4 months, she manifested something like $350,000. She manifested a job paying $165,000 a year. She sold a house that she'd been trying to sell for 9 years for a $200,000 profit. So, yeah, mind blowing. It's so exciting.
Wow.
And then got a $10,000 check out of the blue. So, yeah, it's all like so exciting. But I have to say, my thing said I'm nearly out of power. I think I'm about to be like cut off. Oh, hang on. No. No. Hey. Whoa. Done.
We are plugged in.
We are plugged in. I love that.
We are in our final few minutes here, and I'm super curious about the services that you offer, and the way that you help people. So you had mentioned that you have the Millionaire Mindset experience, and is there anything else that you'd like to mention that people can find on your
website? Another thing that I love to do, because from the practical side of things, after I discovered the law of attraction, I realized that what I was doing, the swim and gym wear, was not making me any money, and really my heart wasn't in that anymore. So I trained to become a life coach, and after building a very successful life coaching business, because I used the law of attraction, everything I knew within that, I always had people saying to me, I want to do what you're doing. I want to be able to work from home and make as much money as I want, and be able to travel whenever I want and spend time with my family and work in the personal development field. Like, I want to do what you're doing. So I actually, in 2008, I launched the Inspired Spirit Coaching Academy. And I also train people all around the world to be internationally certified law of attraction coaches. So people who love the law of attraction can actually start a business as a law of attraction coach, which that's the other thing that I'd love to do.
Wow.
That just shows her energy. Whatever. Any business you touch, for the most part, turns to gold or turns to
Not
infinite.
always. Like I said, I've had some major stuff ups, but
Yeah.
I don't give up. And I think that's the thing. As I said before, I dropped out of high school. I didn't have any connections. I didn't have any money behind me. I didn't have any skills. Like, I literally had nothing. Yet I believe that, by discovering the law of attraction, by discovering neuroscience and really applying that in my life in a huge way, I've been able to transform my life. So I believe that anyone listening to us right now, they have that same opportunity. If you really embrace the law of attraction and you really put it into place, then you can go on to create miracles in your own life as well.
And that's a great segue, because I was going to ask for one last message for our audience. And I'm going to piggyback off what you just said. So for a person who just got that, I want to apply the law of attraction more into my life. I want to manifest more money or whatever they're looking to bring into their life, even after having not so much success with doing it. What would be a great first step for them? What would you recommend for somebody in that field? Like the very first step for them to do?
Great question. And it's probably more like a 3-step. But the very first thing
there
is...
we go. 3 steps.
Very first thing, set your intention. Like, get really clear on what it is that you want, because understand that the universe can bring us all we desire and so much more. The universe wants more for us than we want for ourselves. So the universe, people set goals and they set a goal. And then they're so obsessed with that one goal, or will it happen or won't it happen? It's like, write down every single solitary thing you could ever wish for. Like, make the list huge, make it enormous, because then the universe has got so much to work with and the opportunities for you are so much more. So go crazy, like go completely crazy, write out everything you absolutely want. So set that intention and get clear on what you want. The second step is find a mentor. And when I mean a mentor, it doesn't have to be a paid mentor as such. It could just be someone that's created the success that you want. And then, read their books or listen to their podcast or find their audios, or, if you want to join their programs, but do whatever you can to really find that person that's already created the success you want. Because why waste time, money, effort, brain space, like everything, trying to figure it out on your own when there's someone else who's already done it? Okay, so find that mentor. And that mentor often has a community, which also helps, because then you can tap in with like-minded people, because there's too many people in the world these days that are going to try and drag you back down to where they are. Whereas, you need to be, at least, if not in real life, at least in a virtual world, tap into people that are like-minded. So you've got your setting your intention, getting clear on your goals, finding your mentor and community. And then once you're learning, take action, take action. I say this over and over again. Learning by itself is not knowledge. It's the application of knowledge that has real power. All right. So you need to take action. So, and then the last thing I can say on that is persist, because for some people, it's going to happen overnight. It literally does. I see it time and time again in my programs, money miracles overnight. And even I'm blown away. It's like, pooh. But for some people, it takes a little longer. I was one of them. And so that's why I say to people, keep going. Don't give up. Like, keep focusing on what you want, because universal law is universal law, and law of attraction is a universal law, which means the universe doesn't say, well, this is going to work for you and you, but not you over there. It's like, it's going to work for everyone. So set your intention, find your mentor, apply what you learn, take action, and persist. And that's the key.
Perfect. And it's a nice acronym too, GMAP.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh, I might have to write that one down.
I'm Absolutely.
Good one. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sandy, for being here, for sharing your wisdom, for being
My
who you
pleasure.
are. This is literally, this meeting alone is a dream come true for me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you're doing too, because, you know, being able to reach your audience and you making a difference in them and you bringing people to them that allows them to think differently. It's such a blessing for, you know, the people that listen to you and connect to you. So yeah, thank you so much for what you guys do too.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Wow. And on that note,
Stay magical.
thank you, everyone.